I wanted to share my first completed pages for my first signature. This one is a collage of stuff that's mostly reproduction, vintage looking kind of thing. And I have this cute little vellum envelope and has a little vellum ticket inside. And this is a tea-stained doily. And then I have this page. This is the centerfold of this one. This is actually a page from an Avon calendar from the 1980s. And I've had these images for literally decades. And I was excited about having a way to actually use them. This is a reproduction. And then I've used a lot of trims and laces and things from my personal stash. I literally paid a dime for this package of some very vintage lace. And then I've got this stuff that's, I think is tatted. I've got some crocheted scraps. I think this came off of a pillowcase. And then I've got some other little hand crocheted pieces, some butterflies and some florals, some lace scraps that somebody saved, and I thrifted those as well. And over here on this page, I've used one of those scraps of lace that came out of that bag. And in this vintage envelope, I have a little card that I made out of some reproduction ephemera and another tea-stained doily. And then decoupage this little tissue paper hat. And then this is a vintage early 1900s postcard. And the last page here, and I still don't have a tripod, so you have to pardon my off-center camera work. Some reproduction, Victorian, I think it was supposed to be a Valentine originally. And then I put this tag inside with another reproduction piece of ephemera that I've had for years and years. And it was in there. And then I made a tuck spot here. And inside that tuck spot is this little greeting card. It's just a blank note with this pretty rose. I think this is probably 70s. Maybe early 80s, but probably 70s. And this one is also probably maybe 60s or 70s. Just a little blank note card. And I've got that tucked in here as well. Sorry, a little visit from the cat. Anyway, I'm pleased with how this turned out. And I'm anxious to get started on the next set of pages. Okay, progress on my junk journal. I've put together some of these pages I've already shown with some new blank pages that I've just put together with like scrapbooking paper or whatever, just to give me an idea of how many pages I want in each signature. And so these are not embellished yet, but they're put together because I realized as I was doing it, I was doing some of them with like centerfold completely across, and I'm like, I can't put those together book style if I keep doing that. So I just stopped. But I got this page done, and I added a couple of recycled greeting cards that I turned into journaling cards with some scrapbooking paper, and I think this turned out super cute. Like this one had this hideous border around it, and taking all that off made it so cute. And they go in that tea-stained envelope, which I made into a pocket, and then inside here is a piece of that fine tissue-like stationery inside for journaling. And then I made this one. I love how this turned out. This is so cute. So I made a little lace pocket with this little Victorian greeting card. It just has a little scripture on the inside, but then it's, you know, blank for journaling. I probably want to try and make a tag or something to tuck in this pocket as well, because there's room for more. And then this is one of the postcards that comes with the Cynthia Hart calendar when you buy those. I've had this for years and years, and I thought it was super cute tucked in this pocket. I made a pocket out of a corner cut of vellum and used a punch to get that lace effect. But I like that it's transparent because then it doesn't hide the beautiful postcard. This lady is an actual, is actually a photocopy of some ephemera that was collected by my great-grandmother. And when she had moved out of the house that she had lived in for many, many years and moved in with some family, And then the house began to become neglected and derelict, and it sat empty for a long time. And when I was in high school, my grandfather got a phone call that the house was going to collapse and that they needed to empty it of anything anybody wanted. And he came home with this beautiful little box that was dark green with roses all over it. And inside the box were paper dolls cut from catalogs and newspapers that my great-grandmother had cut out when she was a little girl. This is a photocopy of one of those. Hi, Suki. And so I was okay with gluing this on here, but I thought she's just beautiful. And then I realized, like, I have so much of those, so I want to start making copies of them to add to other journals that I make. And then I made a lace pocket here. I haven't put anything in the pocket yet, but I've got that one done. And then these are the other sides of the other pages. And then I have the calendar girl that I made before. And then this same page that I made previously. And then this one, I've already shown that I made this one with the embellished image on the inside. But I finished the back of this where I had made a pocket and then a second pocket here, and this contains a greeting card given to me by my mother, but I found some more ephemera that I forgot I had. This vintage postcard to go in the little lace pocket, and then this little, it was like a sachet, and it had a little pin on it, but I'm like, it's super cute, so like that's perfect to tuck in that pocket. Now that's where the progress I've made with pages, but I need some things to go in some of the pockets and tuck spots that that I've already made and I plan on making. So what I realized is I do need to start bulk making a few things. So this is what I've been working on. I have this huge, this is just a small portion of a massive stack of 4x6 note cards that I have that are blank, and they have this nice aged patina look to them, so they're pretty. So I've been cutting those into this tag shape, and then I made some more tags like this out of some watercolor paper that actually came out of my grandfather's art supplies. My grandfather painted, and so this is what I've done with the note cards and the watercolor paper. So I'm just gonna start this way. So we got the note card, and I've made this tag with some scrapbooking, like junk journaling kind of paper that's made for this, and then it has some velvet ribbon and some lace and some more velvet ribbon at the top. This one, oh yeah, this one is made out of the back half of a 1950s greeting card, and the bottom has this pretty little sticker on it. I got these beautiful stickers years and years ago. I believe I got them at Dollar Tree. I put some of this vintage ribbon at the top, but I'm pretty sure that this came from a packet of stickers that I got at Dollar Tree years ago. And that one, because here's another sticker from that packet, which actually opens up and has this little journaling card inside. Super, super beautiful. I've been hoarding these for years because I didn't know what to do with them, and I was like, well, now I know. Put some vintage gold trim at the top. This one, some scrapbooking paper with some of these beautiful stickers that I got from Dollar Tree years ago. I mean, you know, if you know, you know. Some vintage lace at the top. I'm not a big Dollar Tree shopper. I only go in there occasionally. I'm not a big proponent of buying all this stuff from China, but I got these so long ago that they were actually $1 a package, because, you know, that was before the $1.25 price increase. But they are gorgeous stickers. This one is more like decoupage or journaling paper or whatever that came from, I'm not even sure where. And then some vintage trim that I have. I have a huge collection of vintage laces and trims. And then this one is scrapbooking paper on the back of it, more of the note cards, and this is vintage embroidered ribbon trim with some coordinating ribbon trim at the top. This is not vintage, but this is. This one is another one of the greeting cards that I turned into a journaling card with some of that scrapbooking paper, and then cut the hideous border off of this and use the corner rounder on the edges. More watercolor paper, and then well, this is the first one, I think it's watercolor, but I stamped this on some tea stained notebook paper from a little mini notebook, like mini notebook paper refills from, I don't know, 70s or 80s. And the rose is a rub-on transfer. And then I went ahead and punched holes in the card to line up with the existing holes in the notebook paper, and threaded some lace through that. It's like seam binding lace. And then this little image, which is more like decoupage and stuff. I think I got that from my mom. She ordered it somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, that's that one. And then this is watercolor paper with just a scrap of some of the scrapping paper that came out of the junk journal, and then some vintage lace at the top, scrapbooking paper, just some leftovers with some of this vintage ribbon, and then this one is just scrapbooking paper on the note card, and this adorable little sticker that came in some stuff, I believe. I can't remember if I think my mom gave me this one. And then more vintage scrapbooking paper, not vintage scrapbooking paper, vintage looking scrapbooking paper on the vintage note card, with this piece of ephemera that I've had for quite a few years that probably is vintage, and then a little sticker on top of that, which is you can flip out. Anyway, that's what I've been doing on some of these, because I realized I needed to make enough to go in my journal. I don't think I'm going to sit down and just endlessly make hundreds of these. I'm going to only bulk make for a specific project at a time. So most of these will end up in here because I made them with this journal in mind. And since I do intend on making 3 signatures in here, this should go all the way through the journal. I feel like I've bit off a little more than I can chew deciding to do 3 signatures, because it's a lot, and I'm very busy with all of my other obligations and, you know, work, trying to make a living, all that good stuff. And anyway, but I'm happy with my progress so far. I think it's turned out to be pretty beautiful. I'm a little intimidated by the prospect of having to actually bind this, but we'll see how that goes. I think these turned out super cute, and I'm anxious to finish at least making the ones I've already got cut out into more journaling tags and maybe some other stuff. Anyway, all right, that's it for now.